Hey everyone, welcome back and Happy New Year's. It is 10 after 7 on New Year's Day, January 1st, 2026. And I was just writing in my journal. I bought this at the dollar store, ridiculously good ideas. And I'm not sure how good the ideas that I have in here are, but it is a great place to sort of get my thoughts, especially in this last week that I've been off over the Christmas holidays. I've been trying to just to sort of reflect on the past year, on 2025. This was one hell of a year, I think, for most of us, for a lot of us. And also think about what I want for 2026 and what I want my theme to be. First of all, I should just say Happy New Year. I hope you had a peaceful and relaxing holiday, and that you spent it with people that you love, or animals that you love, or with yourself, which you love. And that, like I say, it was peaceful, because, again, I think we all need more peace in this world. So if you've been with me for a while, then you know that every year I like to set a theme, an intention for the following year. And I'm not big on New Year's resolutions per se, the traditional definition of a New Year's resolution. What I am a fan of, and what I have done for years now, is set a theme for the year ahead, an intention. And then from that theme, obviously, I build myself some goals. I also like to set some challenges for the year ahead, just to challenge myself, that sort of thing. But the theme for the year is the big thing. And so I would like to just sort of reflect on what 2025's theme was and how I did on that. I actually watched my January 1st or the beginning of January video yesterday, just so I could refresh my memory on what I had said. And so I was really clear. And so it was very interesting. It's always weird to look back at yourself a year ago and go, I wonder how much has changed. So my theme for 2025 was care more and care less. And what that meant was care more about the things that matter, my health, mentally, physically, spiritually, my relationships with the people that I love, the goals that I want. Those are the things that I was going to care more about. And the care less part was primarily related to work, but also care less about the things that don't matter. The stresses of work, office politics, what people I don't know think about me. So I think I really succeeded in that theme, in that goal of caring more and caring less. I started caring a heck of a lot less about what other people thought about me, what society expects a woman of my age to be saying, doing, or thinking. I also started caring a heck of a lot less about the parts of my work that didn't matter, that I shouldn't be worried about. The unrealistic expectations, corporate BS, narcissistic personalities and toxic personalities. I started caring less about really work in a lot of ways. I still really obviously am very conscientious about the work that I do for my clients. That didn't change. But I stopped caring about these arbitrary targets and measurables that a company the size of the company that I work for, puts out there for its employees that aren't realistic, and that just caused me incredible stress in 2024 in particular. That was a big thing, and especially at around March, that really sort of kicked in for me. And so I really stopped giving a shit about the things that didn't matter, because there were so many other things that did matter. And I focused on those. I focused on my relationships with my kids, with my friends, with myself, and focused on my physical, mental, spiritual well-being. And I focused on appreciating all the things that I had and caring less about all the things that I don't have. And it was, 2025 was a transformative year for me. And if you were looking at it from the outside, you wouldn't know that, because the transformations that happened in here and in here. And they were, there was a lot of work, a lot of hard work, and they were really necessary, and they were transformative. That's really the word that I keep coming back to. And Keaton and I spent New Year's Eve together last night. We had a nice dinner, and we had a great chat, and we watched a couple episodes of this British cop show that we really like. And we were talking about themes for the year. And he was saying that his theme, he thinks will be to go with the flow, to just go with the flow and sort of, and I just love that. So I'm adopting it. Because one of the things he said was just like such an aha moment for me. And sometimes you need somebody else to say these things before, even though they're kind of obvious in a lot of ways. But he said that, by that he doesn't mean that things will all be easy. That no, things will still be hard. In that you'll still work at things. You'll still work at achieving your goals and work hard at the things that matter. So it's not about not working hard. It's about things not being so hard. And I think that he is such a smart young man. I'm very proud of him for that. So that was very, very important, because as I was thinking about my theme, I've been doing a lot of journaling and a lot of sort of writing out ideas and sort of thoughts that would come into my mind. And I think I've finally settled on my themes for 2026. So what are my themes for 2026? My themes for 2026, and I am saying themes because they are, there's two things, though obviously they tie together. And the first one is, I'm only doing 100%, which sounds very weird in this day and age, in this culture that we live in, of everybody has to do 150, 200% at everything. Here's the thing. I'm a recovering people pleaser, and I have always at work been the one who went over and above, always over and above, always aimed for 100%, 150%, 200%. I was always looking to do way more than 100%. And what did that get me? I will say, just as a proviso, if that's the right word, when you're starting out in your career, when you're starting out at a new job, you have to do more than 100% in order to prove yourself and get to the position, like sort of grow. That's not what I'm talking about. But at this age, at 60 years old, having been in the industry that I'm in now for over 15 years, having my designation, and, sort of really settled in my career, what I've realized is that going over 100% does not give you a proportional reward. I was always the one who would volunteer, who would always say, yes, I'll take that on. Yes, I can do that last minute. And my compensation did not increase proportionally to the effort that I put in. I was, in 2024 in particular, and past years, I would turn myself inside out to try and go over and above. And what did that get me? That got me the same as everybody else. Always the yes, yes, you do a really good job, but there's this, or but we need you to do that. And so it was never enough. And another thing that I realized is that when I did exceed, when I, got to that 150%, 175% of my goals at work, that just became the new normal for the company. And this is not an unusual thing. Most companies, big companies, are like this, right? It was apparent that their mindset was, well, if that employee can do 150% of the target we've set them, then obviously 150% should be the target, and they should aim for 150% of that new target. And that just kept happening and happening. And here's the thing, they're not adding more hours in the day. And so employees, I see it on my team, are working evenings, weekends, and having no quality of life, no work-life balance, no time with their families. And they are not healthy mentally, physically. They're just a bunch of stressed out people. I'm there to do my job. I'm going to do it well. I'm going to give exceptional service to the clients that I work with. But I am not going over and above, because that the companies don't appreciate it. It doesn't matter what they say. You're not a big family with this company. You have people that at work that you might consider your work friends and that you enjoy. You might respect your manager, but the corporate culture is there to keep you there and to keep you striving for more, so that they can get more out of you. And they don't care about their employees. They say they do, but they don't. They're not necessarily evil. And certainly small companies are different, right? When you work for like a mom and pop shop or a really small company, it's a different culture. And I have worked for small companies where I did feel like they cared about me. But I work for an international company, and the management, they don't care about Adelina here on Vancouver Island. I am a statistic, I am a number, I am an expense, and they need to get as much out of their expense. They need to get as much return out of what they pay me as they can. I believe that when you give 150% at work, that means you're taking 50% from someplace else. Because you can't give 150% to your job, to your kids, to your partner, to your friends, to your health, you can't. You can't. It's impossible. There's only so much. And so when you give more to that one thing, that means you are, by definition, giving less, having less to give to the other areas of your life. And I would argue that those other areas of your life are far more important in the long run for us than work. Work is important. Work is important. We all need to pay our bills. We all need to plan for our future. But we don't need to do more than what we were hired to do, because our managers are being pushed by their managers to get more out of us and keep their budgets lower, right? So what they do that means they pay us as little as they can get away with. And don't get me wrong, I get paid well, but they pay as little as they can get away with for experience, industry, and that job, while always increasing those targets, increasing those measurables so they can get more out of us. And if that means that we are working, employees are working till 7, 8 at night, and we're salaried, we're not getting paid for those extra hours. If you are an hourly employee and you're getting paid overtime, then that might be worth it for you. I would still argue that your time with your family and your own personal work-life balance should really be considered there. There's enough stressors in this world. We do not need to be adding more expectations onto ourselves. Many of us are just in survival mode, right? We're just trying to get through the chaos of the next few years, the past few years, since 2020, let's face it. So, big theme for 2026 is to aim for 100%. I hope I explained that well. You may or may not agree with me. These are my themes. This is what I am doing. Theme number 2 for me, I call embracing possibilities. So what does that mean? That means as opportunities come up, I am going to embrace them. If it feels right, I'm going to lean into it. I'm going to lean into all of the possibilities of the things that I want in my life, in my future. There's so many things I want to do with my life. And I'm leaning into those possibilities. As Keaton would say, I am going to go with the flow. If an opportunity presents itself and it feels right, I'm going to go with it for as long as I want to. I don't have to commit to anything for life, right? I commit to being a parent for life. But that's pretty much it, right? And so I am leaning into going with those possibilities, going with that flow. If it feels right and it's something that I want and I'm curious about it, I'm going to go with it. Learn about it. See if it's something that I want to do, that I want to include in my life. And if it is, then I'll keep doing that. If it isn't, then I will be satisfied with the knowledge that I learned something new. That something new might just be that I don't want to do that, but experiences always bring knowledge. Knowledge usually brings wisdom. I'm looking forward to that. So those are the 2 themes: aiming for 100%, embracing, and going with possibilities. Those are my themes for 2026. Pretty excited about that. Now, also, I always like to set some challenges for myself, especially for the beginning of the year. It feels like the right thing to do. Not resolutions, but challenges. One of the big things is that I usually do at the beginning of the year is eating like a no spend January. And when I say no spend, I'm obviously still going to spend on my bills, the things I have to spend on, utilities, cell phone, all of those things. But I'm not going to be spending on anything discretionary. So, not that I do a lot of this anyways, but no eating out, no coffees out, no shopping, no clothes. If it's something that I need to replace something that I've used, obviously I can buy it. But I don't need anything. I won't need any makeup. I won't need any skincare. Certainly don't need any more clothes. And it's so expensive. Even if you're going to go to like a Tim Hortons or I don't know, A&W or something like that, it's so expensive. Don't need to do any of that. I have lots of food at home, which leads me to my second challenge, which is my pantry challenge. My cooking from my pantry. For the month of January, I did this last January and it was so great because I had just cleaned out my freezer and stuff, and I've kind of done that again. And so I'd like to empty out my freezer, eat what's in there. I'd like to eat what's in my fridge, what's in my pantries. And for the month of January, it's such a fun challenge. If you haven't done, I think they call it Project Pantry, give yourself a challenge, even if it's just for a couple of weeks. See what you can do. Because when you're eating what you have in your house, you're getting creative with your meals. And I have a couple of playlists: budget recipes, my Instant Pot recipes, my plant-based recipes playlists. All of those recipes, the majority of them do not call for specialized products or ingredients. Most of them are things you already have in your house or you buy regularly. Most of them are very inexpensive and feed a lot of people. And so it'll be fun. I have tons of pasta, beans, rice, lentils. I have lots of things in my freezer. I have some plant-based sausages. I've made some seitan chicken and steaks that I can cook up. I just made, just tried my hand at vegan ham, making a vegan ham roast, and it turned out really well. So last night for Christmas Eve dinner, I made my potato, corn, and ham chowder. That's a recipe that is in my recipes playlist, and it's so good. And again, ingredients you probably have in your pantry, except for the ham, which I made. And if you want that recipe, let me know. I would be happy to share the recipe. I took a recipe that I found online, and I found that, well, I had to make some tweaks to it. So I'll share my version of it, but obviously, if you want that recipe, I will always, in that video, I will link the original recipe in it. Anyways, squirrel. So those are the two sort of right up front challenges that I want to do. And if you've never done a no spend month, again, I really recommend it. January is always the best month to do it, because even those of us who don't buy a lot of presents and don't do a lot of family gatherings and travel and stuff around the holiday season, you always end up spending more. And so January is a great month for spending less. Sort of that reset, starting the year off strong by being intentional. Like I always talk about living, that my channel's about living an intentional life. And so this is one of those ways to get back to intentional living, because you're intentional spending. And No Spend January is just such a great reset. It sets you off on a great foot. You're still paying for the things you have to pay for, but you're not spending on any of those discretionary things. And like I said before, I hardly ever eat out. With Keaton here, we do it a little bit more often. And I almost never buy a coffee out. Every once in a while, I will stop at a coffee shop. But mostly, I take my coffee with me. I take a bottle of water with me. I have snacks in the car. I will make a sandwich and then go for a nice long walk and sit in the ocean, eat my sandwich, drink my coffee out of my thermos cup. You can still have that experience. You can grab your thermos cup of coffee and go to the library and sit and thumb through magazines, read your book, work on your laptop. If you feel like you need to get out and be around other people, you still have that same experience without the expense, because, oh my God, it is so expensive to eat out nowadays. And so I'll save money by my no spend January, and I will save money by, shopping my pantry, doing that project pantry and using up what I've got. And I think that will feel so good, because it will just sort of reset everything. So those are the two challenges that I'm setting myself for January. So I've also been thinking about video ideas for the new year. One of the things I really want to get back to doing is more recipe videos. Again, last year with the Care Less, Care More theme, I really gave myself permission to step back and give myself more time. And if things were just too busy and I wasn't in the right headspace, I didn't video. Losing Sophie really was really hard. This is the first New Year's video that she's not here, demanding attention, being a little, camera hog. And I really miss her. So anyways, I really gave myself permission to follow the lead of what I needed. And that was what I needed to do. And I'm really glad I did it. And so, but for 2026, I want to get back to growing the channel. I'd love to get to 50,000 subscribers. I'm stuck at 48,000, which is amazing. Don't get me wrong. But more than 50% of my viewers are not subscribers. And so I don't know why, because this is a great community. You guys are amazing. This is such a positive YouTube family that we have here. And so, yeah, subscribe. If you haven't, click that bell notification so you know when I have uploaded videos. But I've been thinking about some topics that I really want to sort of lean into. Definitely want to lean into more intentional living topics, self-reliance, not sustainability, just, I don't know. I guess self-reliance is the right word. It's not the right word, but I can't think of the right word. I want to do a recap of my favorite recipes for 2020 that I made in 2025. I think that'll be interesting because there's some that I keep going back to, like last night, the soup. I even made my cornbread from my cornbread mix, that recipe. So handy to have that. So there's so many things that I think that would be useful because, again, inexpensive, and they allow you to be to cook from home in a real budget friendly, easy, fast way. And I have, I want to talk more about being an introvert and sort of that. I have registered for a life coach training program. And I don't necessarily want to be a life coach. I want to. I work in the finance industry, and I have a designation. And with that, all that experience and my designation, and now this training, I'm hoping that when I do retire or go part time, that I want to lean into the possibility of being a financial coach, a financial well-being coach for people, because money can be so scary and intimidating. And I'm here to tell you it doesn't have to be. It's all about learning what you need to know and then making intentional decisions. But we have habits that we bring with us from past experiences and how we were raised. And sometimes we need somebody to make us aware of why we do what we do, why we have the habits and the behaviors that we have, why we keep doing the things that we know aren't good for us, right? So when you're a coach, you're not a therapist. You're not telling somebody what to do and what's wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with us. When you're a coach, you're just helping people talk it through and come to the realization themselves, and empower people to develop new habits and behaviors to replace the ones that aren't healthy, and to succeed, because it's all in here for us to do that, right? We all have the ability to succeed, but we don't know where to start. And so I'm very excited about that. This course, this training is going to be really interesting, challenging, which is awesome, and just tie into the parts of my job that I love to do already, and give me that additional education, language, knowledge to bring it all together so that I can help people in the way that I really want to help people. I hope that makes sense. I'll let you know more about that as time goes on, but I'm curious, just curious, would you ever want to work with a financial wellness coach to help you through budgeting and planning and just sort of seeing the big picture and changing your mindset? Would that be something that, I'm not saying work with me, but would that be something that would help? Because I would love that feedback so that I know if I'm on the right track. Anyways, guys, that's it. That is the recap of my theme for 2025, my theme and my challenges for 2026. Now it's your turn to let me know, let us all know down below, whether you set a theme or resolutions, because maybe those work for you, challenges. What are yours for 2026? How did you do for yours in 2025? I would love to know all of that. That would be so interesting. Let's get some conversations going, because maybe yours will give somebody else an idea who doesn't know, right? That can't come up with one. Maybe that will really help, because what I noticed here is that when we have conversations, you guys are so supportive of each other, which is awesome. And we get ideas. I get so many ideas from you guys. So, and if you have ideas for videos that you'd like to see, you can always share those in the comments below as well. I hope you have an amazing year. It feels like we are closing out a very difficult chapter. There's a lot of uncertainty and craziness and weirdness in the world that we cannot control. So let's focus on the things that we can control, which is how we react to the things that are happening around us. And let's be intentional about what we want for our future, what we want for the day in front of us. And every day, let's say to ourselves, this is going to be a good day. This is going to be a good day. I'm going to make this a good day for myself and for the people that I love. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're staying safe. Remember, in a world where you can be anything, be kind, especially to yourself. I love you. I'll see you next time.